bother all this effort just to get by. We're placing the pieces, we're playing the game. Watch as it ceases, looking back at what we became. No one is special, we're all just the same. Tell you what you should believe. There's a limit to what you can achieve. There's a line in the sand that you cannot cross to quench your desire. Don't be fooled by your dream. There's no way that you will get any higher. There's a chance you'll get fired, so it's better to extinguish your fire.
His attitude was starting to get the best of him towards the end of it. Gotta stay level-headed.
It always seems like he's come out in the second half, and no matter how many goals we're up, we blow the lead.
You know that they're a counter-attacking team, but you're putting all of that space in the back on a silver platter.
Thank you guys for tuning into the 89th edition of The Peel on the now on the Beautiful Game Network, sponsored by Roughneck Scarves. Be sure to hit that subscribe button below and get notified whenever we post content on our YouTube channel. And go ahead and hit that like and share button. If you're listening to the podcast, be sure to like and follow us on all our podcast sites: Apple Podcasts, Google Play Music, Stitcher, Spotify, and SoundCloud. We also have tips. See the link in the description below to get to our show. Finally, be sure to give the Peel 05 a follow on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Yeah, man, that was what, 3 weeks off, a month off. You know, it was kind of one of those things. Like, did we really want to talk about that horrible display against the LA Galaxy. I mean, what was there to really talk about? I mean, the team looked flat. So did LA, and LA just played spoilers for everybody else. So, whatever. Um, we'll get into that later on our feels about this team. But Edson, how you been?
I've been doing pretty well. I had everything set up, but I think when I first opened OBS today, it crashed, and so I guess when you reopen it, it resets everything to default. So that's why it wasn't picking up my microphone. But I've been doing well.
Gotcha.
Thankfully, just been chugging along with work and obviously all of the all of the soccer stuff. I've been pretty much been uh, not necessarily like watching every game, but mostly be paying attention to RGV and of course my Tigres, and of
Yeah.
course and the Dash too.
Yeah.
By the way,
Uh,
doesn't it feel badass to say Houston Dash champions?
It does, and I am over the top excited for him. My only concern is from the diehard supporters of other teams. Yours doesn't count as a championship. It was only a tournament. It wasn't even a full season. That's my only worry. But let's face it, it was the NWSL season this year. It's a title. It counts as a title.
Hmm.
So
What was
take it or like it or not, it is what it is.
Yeah, I
So-
mean everybody was fighting for that championship. It's one of those things like that story about the fox and the grapes. When you can't when the fox wasn't able to reach those grapes which he thought were juicy and luscious, he was like, oh, I mean they're they look sour anyway, kind of thing. And it feels the same way with with all of these other teams, fans who didn't win the NWSL Challenge Cup. They're diminishing it, because they didn't win it. But at the end of the day, like all teams, were trying to win that championship, even if it was a different format than usual. Now I don't know. I don't know if that's going to count as a championship that will award the Dash the ability to earn a star or to wear a star on their shirt. But a trophy's a trophy, especially for the Dash that hadn't won anything throughout its history. I mean, for us, it counts, and it kind of gives a glimmer of hope on Coach Clarkson's process with the Dash.
Yeah. I mean, like, a win's a win, man. A title is a title. Can I be honest though? That trophy was kind of ugly.
Look, to be fair, it was a.
I mean, it's like something.
Look,
It's like something they could have bought it at home.
Look,
like,
to be fair, it made for an awesome cup for the beer, and that's basically what it was for.
truth.
That's basically what it was for. And the fact that Budweiser is one of the sponsors, have a feeling that this was, and the fact that the Dash, like, it was just amazing, badass marketing and product placement by Budweiser throughout the celebrations, not only over there in Utah but here as well. It's like all this time you took that most of the time that the picture of the cup was taken after the fact was filled with Budweiser beer.
Sly, what's up, Sly? He says, why not a happy medium and get a bronze star at the bottom of the crest? No, it's a title. Put the star right up top along with everybody else. And guess what? COVID ruined a lot of things, and that is the only excuse any of these teams has. Is it was a COVID tournament. It is what it is, but guess what? It's still a championship. So it just needs to be left down. I mean, look at the baseball season. It's only 60 games long, not including playoffs. Hockey had to play, I think, extra games now due to seeding. The NBA is going to be different. I mean, MLS, we don't know what's really going to go or happen going forward. I mean, as of right now, these guys are going to be playing into December, so it's either you're having a shortened season or kind of a longer season. So a title is a title, and they need to have a star above their crest, Honestly, though, I mean, it's a conversation for another day, but there needs to be an Open Cup for the women, and there also needs to be a Champions League for the women at some point here on this side of the world, because these women in NWSL bust their rear ends, and all they have at the end of the season is just a cup.
Yeah.
You know, there's no end result. There's no Open Cup. There's no Champions League for them to strive for outside of just winning the title.
And you know what? I would,
You know?
yeah, even if we don't go full CONCACAF Champions League, I would love like a Leagues Cup between NWSL and Liga MX Femenil.
That would be cool. My issue is more of the Open Cup side. So there's 3 tiers of women's soccer here in the U.S. You have the WPSL, you have the NWSL. Then what's the other one?
Let me get that.
Why am I drawing a blank?
I know.
I'm drawing a blank on it too.
Hold on.
I have it right here too. I have it in my notes. WPSL. You have the WPS, and then you have the WPSL. That was the UWS. Excuse me. You have the UWS, you have the WPSL, and then you have the NWSL. You know, so you have the structure in place to allow for an Open Cup for on the women's side, you know, and then you have your smaller rec leagues that can eventually move up. So it's something that needs to be done, and it needs to be in the works. And it's only fair to the ladies as well. I mean, because some of these UWS teams and some of these WPSL teams, I guarantee you they can knock off some of these W or NWSL teams.
Yeah, you just got to give them an opportunity to showcase themselves.
I mean, look at some of these stars that have played for the women's national team had gotten their starts in the WPSL or the UWS. So it's only fair to allow or give them that same opportunity on an Open Cup style of play. You know.
Do you think that maybe once, because I know there's talks that event. I mean, you've got what is it, Racing Louisville coming in for in the NWSL, and there's plans of continuing to expand NWSL. Do you think as soon as they reach some sort of I guess like 12 teams, then they'll put in, you know, the idea of creating a women's Open Cup?
I mean, I guess you could, or you just have them. I mean, because obviously you don't have 16 teams, so maybe you let the lower 2 teams or however many other lower divisions play each other, and then your NWSL teams come in the final 8 matches, and you play 2-legged matches.
Yeah.
Or 2-legged series, you know? I mean, the NWSL season's not that long, so you can afford to have a few extra matches thrown in there.
Mm-hmm.
So
I might even say, like, for example, like instead of having so many games against each other in NWSL, like maybe have reduce the number of times they play each other, at least for once, and then having those weeks, you know, planned, you know, so that way it won't be on a weekday, and then have like, for example, like let's say 2 NWSL games, right, and then the next week you play an Open Cup game, and then kind of like that.
But let's go to the main topic of discussion. Again, congratulations, Houston Dash. Y'all finally brought home a title for Houston. Houston hasn't really had much. I mean, besides the Astros, but it's a little dated now. So congratulations to the Dash. And I know the season's not going on this year, or at least the rest of the season, but I look for big things from them next season as well.
Actually, they are talking about trying to have more games in 2020. So one way or another in the NWSL.
And just count the group stage matches of regular season matches?
They have not released.
Kind of like MLS?
They haven't said anything about that, but they are in discussions.
Copy that. But like I said, congratulations, Houston Dash. I still need to get out and get one of those shirts. I just haven't been able to make it to Soccer for All yet. But let's talk about the biggest thing. Hey guys, we have Houston Dynamo Soccer on Friday. And it's not just any other match. It's not just a regular match. It's the damn Derby. The Texas Derby is this Friday, 7 o'clock. I was going to say BBVA, but that's not true. I mean, it is, but not for us. But Yeah, guys, it's Derby week. Anybody else hate Frisco as much as everybody else in this podcast does? I mean, I can't stand him. Did you see? Well, Edson kind of had to back me up, but did you all see the fail of FC Dallas and their lineup from yesterday?
Oh my god, it was so bad. It was so bad. No. Ay, como quiera me avisas si lo encuentras.
Sly says buying tacos or Whataburger for the team if they win, and they let me.
That's gonna be a lot of money though.
I don't know, man. I mean, it might be worth it. I mean, I don't know. I guarantee you can get some donations together and pair that up.
True.
But
the lineup was one of the funniest. It was weird. It looked like they were playing. Let me grab that tweet. But it looks like the keeper was not a keeper. It looked like a freaking center back. And then it was like, the 18 box is like the circle went through the 18 box.
But I wouldn't expect anything less from them. Like I wouldn't. I mean, you know, they're fans, and I don't care who listens to this podcast. So my wife is friends with an FC Dallas fan, and that's only because she knows them through AO, you know, the American Outlaws. But he was even pissed off. Number one, okay, and I do want to stomp this out real quick before we start talking about this team. FC Dallas themselves did not do themselves any favors. They did not back their players. They screwed up the whole introduction or the whole national anthem issue. And then to sit there and say that both sides of the aisle have their own perspectives. Your fans threw shit on the field. Your fans booed their players or booed your players. You should have called them out from the get-go.
It took them a second attempt, a second announcement.
FC Dallas is the worst organization in this league. I mean, we can get on the Dynamo all we want about their lack of spending, but FC Dallas is by far the worst organization in this league. Their fan base sucks, and I honestly don't care. Am I going to get mad at if an FC Dallas fan doesn't want to listen to our podcast? No, screw them. But by far, they have the worst fan base in the league. I mean, their fans... Look, people give the Dynamo grief for not showing up, or Dynamo fans for not showing up. Have you seen an FC Dallas match? It's a bunch of soccer moms that know nothing about the game. When I went up there to go see the Union play, they were screaming for cards for plays that weren't even card-worthy. They were screaming for fouls that weren't even a foul. It just... I hate that fan base. Okay, my rant's over. It's probably a little over the top, but I'm irritated with them.
But yeah, Jorge, there was a second announcement. Basically, so in the first one, it was like he mentioned. Basically, they're saying that they support their players and the right of their fans, and their right to present themselves in a peaceful manner. While we understand the decision to stand or kneel for the national anthem is a polarizing issue, we hope that FC Dallas can be a leader in helping our community accept diverse viewpoints in a respectful way as we all work together in the ongoing fight for racial equality. Well, they got called out. We can't do anything about that, Echo. Blame Skype's NDI for that. That's something out of our control. So basically... they got called out for that, saying that, they're just trying to tiptoe around the subject, not trying to take any sides. So then apparently they released a second statement from Clark and Dan Hunt, because, Reggie Cannon was receiving death threats from FC Dallas fans because of what he was saying, when he called out the organization for leaving them out to dry, not supporting them. They mentioned, they said that they told FC Dallas they didn't want the anthem to be played, while there were fans, right? And basically FC Dallas, all they did was like, well, MLS wants us to play the national anthem. We can't do anything about it, right? And so Reggie Cannon, after in the press conference, called them out on it, saying that he was disgusted on the fans, how they reacted. So Reggie Cannon on social media was receiving death threats and stuff like that from their own fan base. So they came out with a second statement. They're like, we want to be clear, we love and support Reggie Cannon. The racist comments and death threats he has received are repulsive and unacceptable. There is no place in our sport or in our country, for that matter, for the kind of horrific vitriol Reggie has had to endure today. Hateful or violent threats are never warranted, especially when they're directed toward a member of our FC Dallas family. We will continue to work together, blah, 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 blah. Now, here's the thing. For me, that's not enough. Why didn't you call out those fans and say, if you do that, you're going to get kicked out? Even the Dallas Beer Guardians had a better statement saying, if we find out that any one of our members participated in that kind of activity, their membership will get suspended immediately and they will be barred from joining any kind of Dallas Beer Garden activity.
Good for them. And it's, but the thing is there's been an ongoing issue with this club for as long as I can remember now. I mean, they got mad at Dynamo supporters for throwing streamers on the field and banned them. I mean, look at, do they not see what SKC does when they score goals?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they litter the field with confetti. I mean, I understand it's their home match, but you're really going to ban, and even here at home, like, it irritates me that you're going to ban streamers for the Dynamo supporters. It doesn't make sense. And I understand that's also an MLS issue, but it started with the issue that happened at FC Dallas. And it's saying that they lit off a smoke bomb in a parking lot, which is also false. FC Dallas launches fog bombs because there's really a difference there, right?
Yeah.
But no,
and it's funny because when I was there, was it 2 seasons ago in Frisco for a derby, the Dallas fans, and not even supporter groups members, but regular Dallas fans were instigating against El Batallón and Texian Army during halftime. You know, they wanted nothing to do with it, but they just kept on nagging and nagging and nagging until they got a response. And you know, it's just ridiculous how FC Dallas fans it can be, and yet they want to play victim most of the time.
It's the whole thing about Houston supporters and the way MLS treats them is an absolute joke. You know, Jorge brings it up. You know, all these other teams have streamers and confetti, and the Dynamo can't have any of that. Why? Because it's something that happened 10 years ago. Get the hell over it. It's part of soccer. We're not sitting here lighting flares like they do overseas and throwing them on the pitch. We're throwing damn streamers. Edson, here's what I want you to do. Next time you come over, we're going to take a video. I'm going to throw a streamer at you, and I want you to tell me if it hurts you. I'm going to prove a point. I'm going to send it to MLS.
Okay.
And tell them to cry about it.
Okay.
You know?
So I'm going to throw... Okay, so what you're telling me is I'm going to throw myself like Neymar and be out for a whole month. That's what I'm hearing.
If you get hurt by a streamer and you're out for a month, then there's bigger problems we need to worry about.
I was born with bones made of glass.
And he has bones made of glass, and Ronaldo cries after not making a Champions League once in his life.
You know what? Shut your face.
Anyway, so yeah.
At least he doesn't hide like Messi.
Okay, Messi was not going to help Barcelona at all.
Look, he's the captain. He's the one that should set the example and be, help motivate his team. And he was the first one hiding in the lock and not doing anything. He was the first one defeated.
Edson, when your team's already getting blown out 5-0, there's not much you can do. Okay.
Well, you still got to play like it's still 1-0. Do it at least for the crest in your shirt.
He wants out of there anyway, and I can't blame him. Where is?
Anyway, continue on.
So that takes us to the match on Friday. Let's see. So the Dynamo 5 matches played. Hey guys, we've yet to have a win this season. We are 0 wins, 2 losses, 3 draws. 11th on the table. It's not looking good right now, guys. Now, taking on FC Dallas, they are 10th. With a win, we would jump them in the standings. So hopefully we can get that win here. Look, Dynamo, there's no pressure. Yeah, you're playing at home, but you're not in front of a fan base. and you're not in front of Dallas supporters either. So you have no excuse to not win this game on Friday. That match will be August 22nd, Friday, 7 o'clock. Dynamo did change broadcasting networks. We will get into that real quickly after we cover this match. It's going to be on channel 55 on standard def, and then 1055 if you're on Xfinity HD. And I think it's 55 on Dish Network and DirecTV as well. Mm-hmm. It is owned by NBC's affiliate here. Was it Tegna? So I would actually think it's probably going to end up being a little bit better broadcast than what's on Cube, at least visually. But that is to be determined. Last match against... actually, I did not put that down there. Or did I? Oh, all-time record against FC Dallas, 12 wins, 15 losses, 13 draws in 40 matches. This is our 41st match against FC Dallas. MLS MLS total 12 wins, 12 losses, 13 draws, 37 matches. Last 5 against FC Dallas, 1 win, 2 losses, 2 draws. A little bit better record at home, 19 matches, 8 wins, 5 losses, 6 draws. Guys, we got to get the cannon back. We have to have some kind of bright spot so far in this season. I mean, we're not playing too well at all.
Mm-hmm.
What do you got, Edson?
So just real quick with the whole change to Quest, Glenn will still be doing the calls. So
yes,
so that's a huge plus. Now regarding the actual derby, I don't know. Here's my thoughts on this, and I told you this before we went live. My biggest concern is that right now FC Dallas has 2 games since we bowed out of MLS's back that they've played. Mm-hmm. We do not. We haven't even had friendlies against anybody due to COVID, right? Mm-hmm. We saw this with the in USL, where teams that had played games before were a lot better fitness wise than teams who barely started, because there were some teams like, for example, San Antonio, where other teams, when USL came back, they played 2 games and they still didn't play. Like San Antonio still didn't play until like was supposed to be like the 3rd match week, and which was against the Toros. And the Toros tied against them, but in the second half was because they were tired. The San Antonio was tired, and so Toros took advantage of that. And I have a feeling that the same thing is going to happen in this derby. Dallas is going to have a lot better match fitness than the Dynamo, and that might be a huge disadvantage against the Dynamo this Friday.
Yeah. I guess all you can hope for right now as a fan is the fact that with these breaks, I mean, look how the Dynamo did come out and play against LAFC. I mean, they looked decent, against LAFC. They stood their ground, and it gave everybody hope until, we played Portland, and Portland did Portland things. But I guess that's the only cup half full I can really give Dynamo fans, honestly.
Look, the big problem about this team is that you have old players in key places. And we'll talk about this when we're talking about the new signings. But the fact that, that Minor Figueroa, to me, did not look good. And he's technically our starter until that game against LA Galaxy. I mean, against LA Galaxy, Cabrera looked really good. Mm-hmm. Granted, it was LA Galaxy, but he was doing good. He looked better than Kiki Struna. I will tell you that. And as soon as Minor was brought in with that, when he changed to a line of 5 and Minor was brought in, well, guess who caused the penalty? Minor Figueroa. Mm-hmm.
Which he probably, in all reality, I think he had the worst tournament of any Dynamo player. Mm-hmm. It was rough watching him because he was making mistakes that veterans should not be making.
Yeah. How's it going, Alex?
Alex, it's been a while.
But here's the thing, though. Okay. Even if, let's say, Minor Figueroa was slow, right? Mm-hmm. against Portland, he looked slow. Against LAFC, with those through balls, looked slow. Granted, him and Struna were kind of left on an island because Lundy and Zarek Valentin just kept on going up on the attack and leaving them two behind by themselves.
Yeah.
Right? So that didn't help, especially with the counters, right? But at the same time, you look at the LA Galaxy match where the Dynamo they were all like, whether forced to the back because of LA Galaxy or they themselves decided to park the bus, all on y'all's discretion. But how can you understand that Minor Figueroa, when you're in the last minutes, you have the result that takes you to the next round, and you decide to football tackle an LA Galaxy attacker inside of your box? It's like, it makes no sense to me. Like, you ruined granted, it was shitty. It was shitty play by the Dynamo.
Mm-hmm.
But you were getting the results. At that point, I don't care. I didn't care how you played. Just get the results you needed.
So let me interject real quick. Do you think the failures of the defense rely more or fall more on Tab himself or the shortcomings of Figueroa in that tournament?
To me, I want to say 60% on Tab, 40% on Minor. And the reason why, and we talked about it last time, and I keep on going back with the fact that he always kept on having both of your outside backs go up on the attack and leaving you. Let's be honest, your two center backs, they're not that quick. They're not that fast. They're not going to recover on long spaces, right?
Especially Kiki. Look, Kiki is I don't. Maybe great is not the best word for it, but he's a really good center back. But there's no reason that you should have him, as old as he is, having to play that far up, because Figueroa is playing that far up. So as soon as the counter happens, he's already beat. Kiki's already beat.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not even his fault. Like, I think the reason Kiki looks so bad is really because of Figueroa.
Because let's be honest, we knew coming into as soon as Tab was hired, we knew coming right off the bat that Tab Ramos was wanting to play, high pressure and having your lines up. And what did we say before that first LA Galaxy match where we was played at BBVA Stadium? We said, that line being high up is gonna, with Minor Figueroa, is gonna leave a lot to be desired, because we're gonna be caught, off guard with speed.
So on a total side note, Edson, we are breaking out the FC Dallas shirt that Josh loves to talk about in the chat. So between the three of us, when we do our predictions, the one with the worst prediction is wearing the FC Dallas shirt.
Oh my God! No.
Yes.
No.
Yes. Whether Josh is actually on the show or not, he will have to have proof. And see, I'm not going to do his kid like that. I should, in reality, go buy an FC Dallas baby shirt, but I'm going to spare his kid from this heartache, of his indiscretions of his dad, or transgressions of his dad. How about that? So what's going to happen is we're going to, when we all do these predictions, Josh is actually in last place in our prediction pool. So Edson, I think we'll be okay. But if he loses, he's got to rock it, and he's got to take a picture of it. And I hope his kid gives him the worst look ever. Like, Dad, what the hell are you doing? So
you're not my dad.
I mean, I'm pretty sure I'd rather put him in a Philly shirt than an FC Dallas shirt. So Josh, just think about that. In case you guys didn't know, Josh is taking care of his tiny one. Apparently his baby's a little milk drunk. And guys, I can't explain to you how cute Josh's baby is. But all I know is my wife we better get to work here soon. We better have one soon.
That's on you, bro. That's on you. Don't blame her. Blame yourself. Look, I can't say anything because I'm single as fuck.
Tab was pissed when he Jorge Tab was pissed when he had to park the bus. You could hear it in the interview where he said, "Well, guess we're gonna park the bus since the team can't hang." Not a direct quote, but that's what I understood. No, I mean that's pretty pretty accurate without being word for word. Look, Tab doesn't seem like he's going to be the coach that sticks around and deals with players that aren't going to fit his system. I'm going to tell you right now, if Figueroa doesn't get it straight, Cabrera is going to be the one starting for this team.
Oh, I would totally back that decision up. At this point, Minor Figueroa is not fit for the whole 90 minutes, or even or a starter even.
So again, to interject what Josh said, he told his wife last night that if he stops crying after FC Dallas scores a goal, he's going on the side of the road.
Wow. CPS.
Hashtag I don't blame him. But with that being said, who gets to start the center back role?
To me, it has to be Kiki and Cabrera. You got to have Minor Figueroa in case you need to, when you need experience. Like, let's say if the Dynamo are winning by 1 goal, like, and it's the 75th minute, and you need the experience, then you can maybe sub in Minor Figueroa onto the pitch. Mm-hmm. But at this point, the way FC Dallas plays stuff, you need somebody that can hang on, and I think that Victor Cabrera showed that he can hang on with speed. And I feel like maybe, let's be honest, Kiki Struna looked a little bit better having Victor Cabrera having Correct. To spill his messes.
Yes. Now let me ask you this though, because of how bad Figueroa looked under pressure, is that really somebody you want to throw out there when you're only a goal up against a rival like that? I mean, because who's not to say in the 80th minute he doesn't have some reckless tackle and then give Dallas a free kick in a what's the word I'm looking for? Wow.
I mean, technically, Jorge, yeah. I agree with your statement. He says defenders should never be subbed in unless there's injuries. And I know I was talking to about that with who was it? Oh, with my sister's boyfriend, because we were watching the Toros game and they subbed out Eric McHugh to bring in Diego Rocha, in the game. And I said that to him. It's like, it's rare. It's for defenders to be subbed into a match unless it's like an injury or a card, right? And so you do have a point, Jorge. You do have a point about that. But I'm just saying, kind of giving an example why I would prefer to have Figueroa on the bench instead of starting against FC Dallas. I think everything else. I think having Zarek Valentin and Adam Lundqvist, I think for now, I mean, this is what we got to do. I'm not sure what the state of Bizama is right now. Mm-hmm. That's another big question. But I would rather go, because of the fact that Bizama has not played in a long time due to injury. I would keep at it with Zarek Valentin, as a right back.
Josh brings up a good point. He's like, Figueroa put himself in that position. Anytime you put your hands on a player in the box, you're asking for a chance at a foul. And it doesn't matter if the ref sees the full play or not. If you put your hands on a player, and even if he flops or not, the ref 90% of the time is going to award something to the attacking team. Yeah. Whether it was malicious or not, perception is everything, and that's what the ref's going to see.
Yeah.
So,
But
Zama has been back in practice. Hopefully he's back.
Yeah. But like I said, I don't think Zarek Valentin has done a bad job. I just feel like tactics-wise, Tab really kind of needs to kind of limit who goes up and not leave your two center backs out to dry. At least that's me. I feel like I've always felt that your left back or your outside backs have to go, if they go up and help in the attack, it has to be by surprise and not as a tactic or not as a play style.
Because even if you looked at Beasley didn't do it every play. Mm-hmm. He would do it only when he caught the team sleeping, which tend to be a lot with Beasley. But, he wasn't pressing that high up unless he read the the defense right.
Yeah.
So, so I guess what we'll do real quick is we'll get into predictions. Wrong screen. Josh, if you can give us your prediction in the chat, we'll save you for last. Since me and Edson are tied, I don't have a coin to flip or anything. We can't do rock paper scissors. I guess I was gonna say age before beauty, but that would screw both of us. So, Edson, what do you got for the Derby?
I'm gonna be honest. 2-1 loss.
Ooh.
Because of what I said. Because Frisco being fitter coming into this match with those 2 games under their belt compared to the Dynamo being in, you could say, preseason mode.
Also, anybody who is watching the show in the chat, if you have your predictions, I should have most of you also up here on my prediction sheet. I'll add you if not. Give us a prediction. Let us know what you think. We'll give you a shout out next
2-2.
week. Got Josh. Jorge says 5-0. Alex says let's see.
2-1.
Hold on. Alex is 2-1.
Federico says 2-1. And then Sly says 1-0. Got to decide on one, because this is all going into the into his little, what do you call it?
That's just a spreadsheet.
Yeah. David says 3-0. So Sly says 1-0.
Okay, Sly. 1-0 Houston.
Yes.
Doesn't want to cooperate. Let's see here.
How's it going, David? It's been a long time, man. Glad to see you're back.
David 3-0 Houston.
Yes.
Sly says 1-0. I think I got everybody. So Sly sticking with 1.
Yes.
1-0. All right. You know who didn't chime in is Harry.
I don't think he was here.
Harry, Hector, Christian, or Eric, Christian, or Hector. Yeah, none of them tuned in. So, Josh says 2-2 draw. This one's gonna be tough. I think it's gonna be another battle, and the only reason I say that is because it is the Derby. I think it's gonna be sloppy. I'm gonna go 1-1 draw.
Okay.
Even though the Dynamo definitely need a win. I'm hoping for a win, but I don't see them losing to Dallas. Worst case scenario is a draw.
Mm-hmm.
Josh, there's nothing wrong with lip syncing 90s pop songs.
It's all about the 80s, bro. What the hell's wrong with you?
80s, 90s. I mean, looking back on it, they both have great music.
True.
So
tell
me if you're in your car and NSYNC doesn't come on, you don't randomly start singing if you're by yourself.
My
See,
fire.
well,
my
that was Backstreet Boys.
Doesn't matter. To me, it's the same. All boy bands are the same.
Barbie Girl, no, I'm not that extreme there, bro. Alex, though, I could totally see Alex rocking out as hardcore as he tries to be. I could totally see him rocking out the Barbie Girl.
So Todo Dynamo Federico, who, by the way, thank you so much for having me on last week on your Instagram to talk about the Toros. If you guys haven't seen it, check out it's on his Instagram live at Todo Dynamo. He says, after watching Dallas these past 2 matches, Dynamo should win this next game without problems.
Yep. So Edson, what do you want to do next? You want to do transfers and then down the valley and then wrap everything up?
Let's do transfers.
All right, I'll let you go ahead and take transfers. You know a little bit more about them than I do.
All right, so today we were blessed with awesome news for the Dynamo fan base. Tommy Mack finally left. That's the news right there. All right, guys, everybody, we'll see you next week. No, okay. So
hold on, who was more of a cult player, Tommy Mack
or Kevin
Garcia?
Easily Kevin Garcia, because I feel like I have not seen a Tommy Mack supporter.
Yeah, I agree. The only ones that would be the the first class of NYCFC fans that thought he was a legend, but he really wasn't. Pirlo made him look a lot better than what he really was.
Thanks, Josh. You give a huge shout out to my beans.
Fat Messi.
Fat Messi is gone. No, Jorge. No, Jorge. No. You cannot be a Tommy Mac fan, please. Okay.
You know what though? Hold on. You know what would actually be awesome, and I would tune in a Tommy Mac and Kevin Garcia podcast.
That'd be amazing. That'd be hilarious. All right, at K Garcia 4 and at Tommy Mac, you guys need to make a podcast talking about all the shit that you've seen at the Dynamo. This morning we were blessed with the news that the Houston Dynamo traded Tommy Mac and $175,000 in GAM. If I'm not mistaken, it's $125,000 of 2020 GAM and $50,000 of 2021 GAM for.
We had to pay a team to take Tommy Mac.
Hey, but look, at least we got we in that trade we received midfielder Wilfried Sahibo from New England Revolution plus an international slot which will be used on Wilfred. You know, so I don't think it really was bad of a trade. To me, I think it was a great trade because we got rid of Tommy Mac, who, let's be honest, didn't fit the system, wasn't really great, and we have a midfielder, a holding midfielder that can be the pairing for Matias Vera, makes this roster younger, and it allows Boniek to maybe come out of the bench. Because let's be honest, he is awesome. He's El Presidente, all hail the chief, but he is old too, and you're expecting a lot out of Boniek Garcia to play lights out for 90 minutes. So I think it's a good move.
I'm trying to keep a straight face, but Josh and everybody else in the chat are keeping the chat lit tonight. Podcast name for Kevin Garcia and Tommy McNamara. Podcast name: How to Naruto Run and Do Nothing on the Pitch.
Fun fact: Justin chews a piece of gam every night before bed.
Alex, someone posted in New England Reddit that Tab Ramos was a dick. Why? Because he gave you guys garbage?
Look, at this point, that's what we want. No, we want to get rid of the players that have no business.
We want to get rid of the dead weight.
Yeah. And so far, we're doing that, and we're bringing in younger players. Some of them are going to take a while. It's going to take a process. Obviously, when you're bringing in, what was it? Well, Ian Hoffman and all the Castilla, Rios. It's going to take. This is for the future. But for right now, this is what I said when they announced Hoffman, who's going to go down to RGV anyway for the rest of the season. But I said, okay, we're bringing in good players for the future, right? But we need players that we can use now at this moment to make this team better. Well, we now have Zahibo on the midfielder. We needed some depth in it. We know that Boney is good, but with his age can't last 90 minutes. So you need somebody that'll take that starter position and have him be the super sub or whatever you want to call it at the midfielder, right?
Jorge has an insight to how this trade went down. Hey, you want to trade? What you got? T-Mac. Nah, we good. We'll pay salary and pay you money to take them. All right, cool. Sounds good to me. Can we also call Ian Hoffman the Hoff or Hoff El Jefe? I like Hoff El Jefe.
I'll take El Jefe.
El Jefe? All right,
I'll
cool.
take that.
Yeah.
But that wasn't the only. That was not the only movement that came today. So today, this was actually rumored for a while. I know Andres from the Foxtrot had kind of leaked this based on his sources. It was kind of, you can say, it was kind of confirmed, or at least it wasn't denied by Lester Gresh. But we're talking about Ariel Lassiter, Costa Rican forward. Ariel Lassiter is coming in on loan for the 2020 season from Alajuelense from Costa Rica.
And did I read there's an option to buy?
Yes. So it's a loan for the 2020 season with an option to buy for the permanent transfer from Alajuelense. He holds United States and Costa Rican citizenship, will not occupy an international roster spot. He plays... Okay, so when Costa Rica, he is 25, so once again, a young player. So in 2 years in Costa Rica, finished with 24 goals and 16 assists in 64 games for Alajuelense. Led his team in the final semester with Alajuelense. He led the team with 9 goals in the tournament. 6 caps with the senior Costa Rican team starting in 2019. His most recent international match with Costa Rica was played against the United States on February 1st, 2020. He did represent the United States at the under 20. It sounded like Tweety Bird. Under 23 U.S. National team and competed in the Toulon tournament in France. He did play with Los Angeles. Well, he was with Los Angeles Galaxy. Mostly played with Los Dos, LA Galaxy 2 in the USL. He played 89 games between both teams with 39 goals and 5 assists in all of those competitions between USL and MLS. And I believe he is the son of a former...
Yes.
Yeah, he's a former
Golden Boot winner in MLS. Actually, it might have been the first Golden Boot winner in MLS, but I'm not 100% sure. Josh says T-Mac was probably like, WTF, guys. Dynamo were like, here, take some street tacos with you. Tommy Mac shrugs. Okay.
Yeah, so he is the son of Roy Lassiter.
Yes. I mean, I'm excited the team's making moves. I know they have a history of going after players that aren't big name players and hoping for the best, like crossing their fingers and hoping for the best. I do like the fact that these guys are not necessarily young, but they're definitely not old either. They're what, 20, would you say 25 and 26?
Yeah. So yeah. Lassiter's 25. Haribo is 26.
Haribo. So, they've been around the league long enough, or they've played long enough to where, it's they have the experience, and it's not a huge learning curve for them, at least to learn a system. They've been around. They've probably played under a few coaches. So that I'm excited for, and I'm thinking, the speed. They're both, well, at least Lassiter, he comes from Costa Rica. He's probably going to have the speed and the pace with him. So it'll help us up top.
So here's the question that Federico from Todo Dynamo brings. He says, I see him playing more on the outside on his latest videos, with most people call him a striker. Replacement for Elise or Manotas?
I would think more for Elise. I don't know. Because there's conflicting reports now that, the Dynamo have offered Elise this contract. Did he sign? Nobody knows. Or is he moving? And there's still the talks with Manotas leaving. Personally, I would throw a blank check at Manotas and I would let Elise go. I think Manotas has the better upside than Elise. And then I would just keep Lassiter.
I think at this point, and I think I said it in a previous show, I think Elise is checked out of the Dynamo already.
Yeah, he's pulled a Kyoto. He really has. And maybe it's a Honduran thing with the exception of Boney. Maybe it's a Honduran thing, and I hate stereotyping.
No, I think this has to be a generational thing. This has to be a generational thing. Mm-hmm. I think the fact, look, let's be honest, and a lot of people have kind of said this, even in Mexico, where they feel like nowadays soccer players of nowadays, they're spoiled because most of them get the big money, whereas players from before, including Boniek, they had to fight hard, to kind of get their paycheck. How long did it take for them to get a good paycheck, right? And now, Albert Elise, how old was he when he came to the Dynamo? And then he became the DP. He became, he got all the he got all the fame and everything at such a young age. Maybe he wasn't ready maturity wise to handle all of that, and handle the money, handle the fame. We saw the same thing with Kyoto, and I think that's what it might be.
Josh says, I don't think it's a Kyoto thing at all, guys. Elise wants to play in Europe, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Yeah, but Elise's attitude lately, and you kind of saw it in the last two matches in MLS's back tournament. He gets frustrated easily in a match. And his attitude is not going to allow him to go to Europe at all.
That's the thing, though, because you can be ambitious, you can want to move on and go on to better things, but there are players that as long as you are playing for a team, you're going to give them all of you have, even though you know for sure that you're leaving for X and Y reason. Hey, you know what? They're still paying my salary. I'm still going to give it all for them. Yeah, it's
going to pay off for you in the future. You bust your ass with every team that you're with, and it's just going to keep following you. All that hard work and that effort you put in, it's going to help you long term. You can't check out on a team whether you want to be there or not. Because guess what? Even if the team sucks and you scored 25, 30 goals in a season, or 20, 30 goals in a season, and then you move on to somebody else and produce those same effort or this same production numbers, it looks better for you. Don't just give up on your team just because you want to get out of there.
And
if
like
anything,
you said,
that's going to be a detriment to you.
And like you said, they look at that and they look at attitude as almost as much, if not a little bit more, than what on the field talent. Because if you're not going to put in your talent because things aren't going well for you or for X or Y reason, then why would they have you when you're seeing that I'm not going to be 100% committed to this team for any little thing. You're going to want somebody that's going to be determined for your club, for your process as you as a coach, that you can count on when things are well and also when things go bad for anything. And Elise is showing that when things go bad, when things were sour, or things are not in his personal favor, the way he views as his favor, well, I'm going to check out, and that's not professional.
Josh says he hasn't checked out. What are you talking about? I got to side with Edson on this one, Josh. I mean, he does still take one too many touches. The reality is he isn't that good. I get where both of y'all are coming from, to be honest with you. But I do think, in Edson's case, he has checked out for Europe. And like Josh said, there's nothing wrong with that. But he doesn't want to be here anymore. But I don't think he realizes that you still got to produce numbers if you still want to hold on to any hope of going overseas. As for the touches thing, if he doesn't clean that up, if he can't do it here in MLS, what makes you think he's going to do that in Europe? They're going to school you on taking too many touches over there.
I feel like he's a one-trick pony, and I didn't see that before, but now you see it's the same thing that he always wants to try. That little pause, that little stutter step, and then a long touch and try to beat you with the speed.
Sometimes you honestly just take the shot. Don't try to break an angle to get yourself in a better position. Sometimes you just have to take the shot and hope you beat the goalie. So if that means you're 25 yards out and you take that shot, guess what? You're 25 yards out and taking the shot. You're not trying to push it up another 10 yards, do a couple stutter steps, a couple crossovers to break an ankle, and then hope that you could beat the goalie. No. Just take the shot right then and there. Mm-hmm. Have a screamer. Screamers look better for the highlight reel.
Yeah.
If that's what you're worried about. It's not his one too many touches is gonna be the downfall of him of being what he wants to be. So, or hey, Caps, I've been telling y'all for 2 years. So, I don't know if I'd say he's class in MLS. I mean, he's good, but there's definitely players I would take over Elise in this league, hands down.
More well-rounded players.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Wow, Edson, we were only going to do 45 minutes. So, couple real quick things before we get into your down to Valley Minute. Real quick, Edson. In case you guys didn't know, Dynamo did sign a new broadcasting deal with I think it's pronounced Tegna or Tigna, who also owns KHOU here in Houston. Dynamo games will be moving to Quest, Texas. It's going to be on over the air on channel 55. Comcast is going to be on 55. If you're looking for the HD channel, it's going to be 1055. That's the same for AT&T Uverse channel 55. If you want an HD, it's going to be on 1055. DirecTV 55, Dish Network channel 55. So all the only number you need to realize is or remember is 55 or 1055. That's where all your Dynamo games. Glenn Davis is also going to still be doing the broadcasting. So let's pray for the best. Let's hope the graphics are a little better. I'm hoping it's not on 480. If it's 480p, then there is a lot of issues there with this team, and that's something that's going to have to be remedied really quickly. You do not broadcast the MLS team in 480p.
What is the 90s?
And hope that you're going to have a fan base. Exactly. But that's the only thing. I did have the Roma thing, but we could bring that up later and argue about that later. Edson, go ahead and give us your down the Valley Minute real quick.
Well, we still haven't won a game in this season, and that's pretty much it. Yeah, pretty much. They totally crashed out against Austin Bold FC last week. They lost 4-1 with an Austin Bold that was super weak from having so many COVID-19 positive cases. They still lost 4-1. Robert Coronado, love you, man, but man, I can't believe you got 2 yellows in 22 minutes. You know, and that messed up the plan for Coach Echeverri. But then
he was trying to be like at least that one game.
But then
hey, hold my beer, I got you.
But then this weekend they actually got their first clean sheet of the season. They tied 0-0 with OKC Energy at OKC. The Tours still continue to suffer on the attack. Garrett McLaughlin, I'm sorry, guys. If you guys are expecting a lot out of Garrett McLaughlin for being a Dynamo draft pick, number one, where have you been all these years? Like, are you really expecting that after all these years? And number two, prepare to be disappointed with Garrett McLaughlin. You know, he had a 1v1 opportunity. He gave it straight towards the keeper. He has not been the striker that we desperately need. Actually, nobody in on offense. All of them have been pretty much let down so far. So that's the thing. On defense, they've been on fire, guys. If you have not seen a Toros match, do so and keep an eye out for Robert Castellanos. He has been playing lights out this season. He leads the league in clearances. And then Paul Blanchett, he's been getting better. He's still leading the league in saves. You know, he still needs to work on being consistent all 90 minutes and not make any dumb mistakes, which he didn't do against OKC Energy. So that's a huge plus for me. Hope he continues to do that. But the midfield and the attack still needs a lot of work. Still pending on when Ian Hoffman will be able to play for the Toros. But we do know for sure Kyle Adams and Eric McHugh, both of them defenders, will be on loan with the Toros for the rest of the 2020 season.
Cool. Hey, Edson, hold that thought real quick before we
I can't hear you. What are you doing, Justin? What are you doing? No, I hope it's not what you think it is. No. Oh no, you are doing this. Why, bro? Why?
So you can see it. This is what the loser is gonna have to wear right here.
You know, it's fun.
Right here.
It's funny how even Skype is like, "Nah, get that trash out of here," and just blurs it out for the safety of our audience.
So yeah, that's gonna happen. That's gonna happen next week. Yeah, it is kind of funny how Skype blurred that out. No, actually, Josh, you spent money on that hot garbage because you got it for me as a gag gift. So good job.
Wow.
You spent your hard-earned money on that.
No, you got that right. Not safe for work, but
But guys, hey, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button down below. If you're listening to the podcast, hit that like button and follow us on our hosting sites, Apple Podcasts, Google Play Music, Stitcher, Spotify, SoundCloud. Also, are you guys tired of the same old uniforms and cookie cutter templates from Nike and Adidas? Looking for a unique and completely custom kit for your youth club, Sunday League squad, adult, or even pro team? Icarus FC can help you create the kit of your dreams at an affordable price. Let them help you design your new custom kit today at Icarus.com or IcarusFC.com. If you guys haven't seen, the Surge is their jerseys, which we should be hearing something about that soon. Can't wait to actually wear that on the show. They got theirs through IcarusFC.com. Yeah, man, I can't wait. They look legit. Also, thanks to our sponsor, Roughneck Scarves, official scarf supplier to MLS, USL, and US Soccer. Get your custom scarves for your group or team at roughneckscarves.com. Guys, thanks for tuning back in.
And thank the beautiful network game, the Beautiful Game Network too.
Yeah, I was getting there. Before we close out, thank you guys again for listening to another edition of the Peel on the Beautiful Game Network. Hey, look, I'm not saying we go stand outside the stadium on Friday with air horns, drums, obviously social distance with a mask. But I'm thinking maybe that's what needs to be done. Let the club know. They've been doing it at the Phillies games. They've had fans standing out in the outfield, back behind Ashburn Alley, with air horns and everything else. I'm just saying it's an idea.
Don't do it. Whatever you do, don't do it. Don't do it at all. Don't do it. I'm telling you. You didn't hear this from me. Do not do that. Do not go and stand outside BVA Stadium with banners, flags, drums, you name it, and your voice. Don't do that whatsoever.
Why?
We're in the middle of the pandemic.
Hey, I said 6 feet and masks. That follows CDC guidelines right there.
Okay, I see it. Okay, all right. But still,
6 feet with a mask.
Don't do it whatsoever. Do not do it. All right. Take it away.
I can't even follow it up. Here I am trying to hype that game up on Friday because, screw Frisco. Edson's got to be all Dr. Fauci about it, which I'm not mad.
You don't see me going like this?
No, I can't see you. When I have all my notes and stuff up, I can't see you.
Wow, way to go, man.
So were you saying totally do it? Is that what you were saying?
No, I'm not saying to totally do it. I am not saying that at all.
Bubble wrap yourself around Justin. Yes, Philly germs. God, I hate Josh. Thanks though, Josh, for keeping the chat lit tonight. It's a big help. It sucks that he can't be on, but God, that little kid is adorable. There you go. Dynamo should put tape on the floor so people know where to stand. Look, I might have to be out there for that if the Surge can get something together. I might have to partake in that. I got a mask. I'll stand 6 feet away from somebody. Don't know Spanish, but I'll do it. Hey guys, love y'all. Stay safe. Let's get a win for Houston. Houston needs it. Let's beat Frisco, please. Not to quote anyone famous, my mind's telling me no, my body's telling me yes. Or hey, I'm gonna hook up with you after this. We're gonna figure this out, and we'll